official, guys. Caitlin Clark is officially out for the remainder of the season. Boy, does this.
Karma has officially caught up with the WNBA. Caitlin Clark just dropped a bombshell that could shatter the league's 2025 season. Clark is now ruled out for the rest of the year. That's not just an injury, it's a complete collapse of the league's golden strategy unfolding right in front of millions of fans. The real question isn't only about Clark's future, it's about the WNBA's survival without its brightest star. And here's the twist: Caitlin Clark herself silenced the false stories, exposing the truth behind the league's manufactured narratives.
Caitlin Clark is officially out for the remainder of the season.
So here's the real question: does the WNBA actually care about Caitlin Clark's well-being, or are they only worried about protecting their own image? Who let her down? The league, her franchise, or the entire system itself? Let me know what you think in the comments. And if you're standing with her, type it loud. Justice for Clark. From day one of her rookie season, Caitlin Clark wasn't just another athlete. She was the headline act. Viewership exploded. Arenas that were once half empty turned into sold-out shows. TV networks scrambled to secure broadcast rights like it was the Super Bowl. That, right there, was the full force of the Caitlin Clark effect.
Because I will contend that they have known this was going to happen, and they did not want to tell anybody.
But the league clearly had a different agenda. By the time All-Star Weekend rolled around, Clark was already pushed out of the spotlight, battling a lingering groin injury. She managed to suit up for only 13 games this season, yet even in that short stretch, she was nothing short of dominant, averaging 16.5 points, 8.8 assists, 5 rebounds, and 1.6 steals per game. She wasn't just keeping pace, she was surpassing her rookie numbers. That's elite-level production by any standard. Those stats alone proved what everyone already knew. Caitlin Clark was the driving force behind the fever, and honestly, the heartbeat of the WNBA's marketing machine. But instead of protecting their biggest star, it felt like the league went out of its way to tear her down.
Have you noticed that this year, the way sports media has covered the WNBA, it's gone back to 2022. It's gone back to out of sight, out of mind. It's gone back to WNBA. Is there anything going on in W? No? Okay, why am I going to talk about the W?
Remember those so-called All-Star Unity shirts? Yeah, Unity. What a joke. If that was really about togetherness, then I must be the commissioner of the NBA. Everyone knew those shirts weren't about unity. They were about freezing out the one player fans actually came to watch, Caitlin Clark. Behind the curtain, that whole stunt was planned. It wasn't some spontaneous show of solidarity. It was a calculated move to push her out of the spotlight. And just when you thought the pettiness couldn't possibly go any lower, Kelsey Plum stepped in, taking a cheap shot with her infamous tattletale dig, mocking Clark live on national television.
3 games left. Y'all are not about to have her all of a sudden start getting physical practices in and then put her in the game.
The crowd laughed. The league brushed it off, and Indiana's star was left embarrassed. Sitting right beside Plum, Sabrina Ionescu, supposedly on Team Clark, fired back with heavy sarcasm saying, "Oh yeah, that definitely needed to be mentioned." But as bad as that was, what came next took things to another level. When the All-Star starters were revealed, Caitlin Clark, the very player smashing every ratings record, was nowhere to be found. Left off completely. Unbelievable, right? And the backlash was instant. Ticket sales nosedived almost 50% overnight. Fans sent a crystal clear message: no Clark, no party. She didn't even need to say a word, but when she finally spoke, it was a mic drop moment heard across the sports world. Clark confirmed she was done for the season. "I had hoped to share better news, but I won't be returning this year." Then she added words that cut even deeper. "Disappointed isn't big enough to describe how I feel." The Fever released their statement shortly after, but instead of sounding strong or reassuring, it came across less apologetic and more desperate.
And not to tattletale, but 0 members of Team Clark were very present for that. But no, we were just
The buzz that women's basketball injected into the league, the sellouts, the historic ratings, it all vanished in an instant. But here's the twist: Caitlin Clark didn't step away without leaving her mark. Hidden within her statement was a sharp, quiet dagger, a subtle but devastating truth that tore through the WNBA's carefully crafted illusion of unity.
Clark, the 2024 #1 pick, had been limited to 13 games this season and hadn't appeared since July 15th. when she suffered a right groin injury in the final minute of the Fever's win over the Connecticut Sun.
Then came the so-called official statement from the Indiana Fever front office. COO and GM Amber Cox released her polished message. Caitlin has put in the work every single day, doing everything possible to recover and return, but time just isn't on our side. While we'll continue to give her every resource available, there simply isn't enough of the season left for her to safely come back. Her long-term health is our top priority, and we look forward to seeing her at full strength to start 2026. Sounds professional, right? Clean, careful, exactly what you'd expect. But let's be real, it's the same tired "we care about her health" speech fans hear every time the league fails one of its stars. Because if Caitlin Clark's well-being was truly the priority, she never would have been run through a brutal schedule, pushed to play through pain until her body gave out on the floor. So forgive the fans if they see it for what it is: damage control. And just when it seemed like the drama couldn't get heavier, head coach Stephanie White added another layer, admitting she hasn't been able to do much contact. That's the hope. Long-term health is our focus translation. Clark hasn't even been cleared for basic contact, not in drills, not in scrimmages, not in practice. Yet instead of being up front, the statements come wrapped in PR spin, designed to dodge accountability. Meanwhile, every day Clark remains sidelined, the WNBA's credibility sinks just as fast as ticket sales. That's called shooting yourself in the foot, and fans aren't holding back. Social media exploded with reactions. The WNBA is finished without Clark. Others posted "protect her or lose her." This is what happens when jealousy runs the league.
Because Caitlin Clark fans, I want to say Fever fans, but at this point, so many of you, including myself, has lost faith in everybody involved in leadership and in management and coaching. We've just sort of, I got to tell you, I don't have any more real good things to say about the Fever organization as of now, because I will contend that they have known this was going to happen, and they did not want to tell anybody.
Even LeBron James, yes, King James himself, couldn't ignore the irony. His response? Minor setback, major comeback. And with that, it felt like karma marched straight into the WNBA's front office. Suddenly, this wasn't just about the Caitlin Clark controversy anymore. Fans shifted their anger toward the bigger picture, the league's entire system.
Makes me really sad because, I mean, me, like many of you, Caitlin Clark is the most exciting player to watch in the WNBA. Though I am a fan of the entire league, I was just watching the Mystics play the Mercury.
With their biggest star sidelined, the WNBA is collapsing like a fragile house of cards. Sponsors are backing away, viewership is plummeting, ticket sales are sinking, and the playoff buzz they worked so hard to build is evaporating overnight. The league staked everything on one player, then let jealousy and infighting sabotage the very plan they built their future on.
To this league, the viewership for the Caitlin Clark games largely surpassed anything else going on in the WNBA. I would argue that the amount of Caitlin Clark fans are at least 3x.
The very players who once shouted, "Pay us what we deserve," are now facing a harsh reality. Those paychecks shrink fast when Caitlin Clark isn't the one bringing in the fans, the sponsors, and the revenue.
That Clark is officially out. How many healthy bodies do they actually have to make a playoff run if they hope to make one? We know that all of the teams that get to play in the first round will at least have one.
And let's talk about the other elephant in the room. Why are so many players going down this year? It's not just Caitlin Clark. One star after another across the league has been sidelined with injuries. Fans are starting to ask the tough questions. What's really behind this wave of breakdowns? Is it the grueling schedule, a lack of real player protection, or has the league become so desperate for ratings that they're driving their athletes straight to the breaking point?
Announcement before we get out of here, man. Year 3 CC will be generational. Wow, this was a scam. The organization is trash for doing that to the fans. You better get Caitlin Clark 100% healthy and tell us what was really wrong with her. No vague groin injury. We aren't letting this organization off the hook. Now, if you remember, she also had an ankle injury that came out of nowhere. So I'm like, what is going on with Caitlin, man? What are we doing here? Man, very irresponsible by this organization.
Think about it. When multiple stars, including Clark, go down one after another, that's not just bad luck. That's a system failure, and the WNBA can't run from it anymore. So here's the real question. Did the league just sabotage its own golden era before it ever truly started? Caitlin Clark is officially done for the season, and if this doesn't serve as the wake-up call the WNBA desperately needs, then there may not be a future left to wake up to. Drop it in the comments right now. The WNBA owes Clark respect. Let's see how many fans are riding with her. And if you want to stay locked in on all the drama-shaking women's basketball, hit subscribe and check out the next story.